Have you ever walked away from an interaction with someone and just felt completely drained? Like your energy was literally siphoned right out of you? Well, today we're diving deep into that invisible fuel that narcissists run on. It's called their supply.
It's not money, it's not success, not in the way you and I think about it anyway. So what is it? What is this one thing they are constantly, desperately hunting for? Let's get into it.
The answer is narcissistic supply. The best way to think of it is like a battery. See, a narcissist has this really fractured, unstable sense of who they are, so their internal energy is just super weak. It runs out fast. To keep going, they literally have to steal psychological fuel, attention, admiration, control from other people. And this isn't just something they want, it's a desperate need, just to feel real.
So, if they need this fuel so badly, how do they get it, right? This isn't a passive thing at all. They are actively on the hunt for various specific types of people.
And hunting is absolutely the right word. The source material describes it as a constant state of hunting. They are always scanning the room, looking for what are called primary and secondary sources. Primary sources give them that direct hit of attention. Good or bad, doesn't matter. Secondary sources, on the other hand, help them keep up a respectable public image. Bottom line, they're looking for fuel from every possible angle. Because they aren't looking for a partner, they're looking for a fuel source.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. The type of supply they go for. You might think they'd target someone super confident, wealthy, independent, what the source calls high-quality supply. But nope, they actually prefer the opposite, what's called an abundant, low-quality source. Why? Well, someone who lacks confidence or has fewer resources is just easier to control. That means a more reliable, more efficient energy transfer for them.
And this really paints a clear picture of who becomes a target. Younger people, folks who lack confidence or resources, and highly empathetic people. They are all prime sources. The one thing they all have in common? They're more vulnerable to control, which makes the energy theft that much easier. Okay, let's shift gears and look at the tactics. We know who they target, but how do they actually do it? What are the methods they use to steal this psychological fuel? This quote from the source material is, wow, it's so chillingly clear. What you might think is just a regular conversation or a disagreement is actually a strategic move on their part. It's not about finding common ground. It's about creating an opportunity to drain you. And here's the playbook for how that works. It's called the debate trap. Step 1. They provoke you, usually bringing up some controversial topic out of nowhere. Step 2, they dominate the conversation, talking nonstop, making sure they're the center of attention. Step 3, they just keep going and going until you're completely exhausted. And step 4, that's the harvest. The moment you're drained, they've gotten their energy, you feel depleted, they feel recharged.
But it's not always about big, dramatic arguments. They might offer these tiny little breadcrumbs of help to someone in need, just so they can get praise and validation in return. Or they'll demand you do chores for them, or even use a partner as a status symbol to show off. You see, every single interaction is a potential transaction.
And all this leads to a really critical dynamic in the relationship. This is not a partnership of equals. It's a zero-sum game, where for them to win, you have to lose. This visualizes it perfectly. As your psychological battery, that blue bar there, gets drained, their score, their sense of power, goes up. The source puts it so plainly. The more you're weakened, the more points they feel like they've accumulated. It is a direct transfer of well-being from you to them. And here's the most brutal part of this whole thing. This isn't just about them feeling better. The energy they steal from you, the supply they gather, will eventually be weaponized and used against you. It is a vicious, calculated cycle.
So knowing all this, how do you stop it? How do you actually disrupt their tactics and ruin this twisted game? Well, the answer is probably not what you think.
It's not about having a bigger argument. It's not about some dramatic confrontation. The single most powerful weapon you have in your arsenal is your indifference. By refusing to engage, by not giving them that emotional reaction they so desperately crave, you cut off their fuel line. Just like that. So why does ignoring them do more damage than any argument ever could? Because it starves them. It instantly cuts off their supply, which wounds their pride. That, in turn, shatters their incredibly fragile ego, and it triggers their deepest, most primal fear of all, abandonment. So this leaves us with one final thought to chew on.
Their entire sense of self, their whole world, is built on a game that requires your participation and your energy. So the most powerful question you can ask yourself is this: what happens when you simply decide to walk off the field and refuse to play?